New York Attorney General Letitia James may just have handed the presidential win. How? Well, all of this legal and political prosecution, I mean, you could even call it persecution, is just calling for all sorts of reckoning at the hands and the votes of American people. I mean, Letitia James has gone so far as to say that she's threatened to seize Donald Trump's assets and suggested that the former president should secure the entire value by selling off his real estate holdings, which his attorney Clifford S. Robert called unconstitutional. Influential pollster Frank Luntz, he's already predicting it, saying that he wants the nation to remember this moment and don't forget it. He says that if the New York Attorney General starts to take away his homes and starts to seize his assets, it's all going to be on camera. I mean, you're going to create the greatest victimhood in 2024 and you're going to elect Donald Trump. I mean, many people know how Donald Trump, as a businessman, a billionaire businessman at that, who's perfected the art of the deal. And now he's on the verge of one of his biggest deals as his media company, Truth Social, has just gone public, which might help him cover just some of those legal expenses. Not to mention, it'll also create a massive windfall for the former president Donald Trump that could potentially double his net worth. Now, I'm telling you guys, never count out Trump. Just recently, he went on Truth Social saying that he's already got almost $500 million in cash. So let's go ahead and talk about Trump's financial and legal wins as we see his strategy start to pay off for him in Georgia, in New York, and even in Florida. So as former U.S. Attorney Joyce Vance said, Donald Trump's legal cases, they're shifting into his favor. In fact, the tide is turning. You guys, we're right here to ride every moment of it all the way to November presidential election. So you guys ready for this? All right, let's go ahead and jump in. So here's Fox Business senior correspondent Charles Gasparino talking about what he calls a very stupid case by Letitia James. Check this out.
So, there's not a lot of great scenarios for him either. But this is a mess. And, when it really comes down to it, it comes down to a very stupid case by Tish James. She literally went and an absurd judgment by this Democratic hack judge. I mean, they literally sat there and said, Donald Trump bloviated on a loan application that the bank didn't trust anyway. So they did their own due diligence.
Right.
And somehow the bank, he's committed bank fraud where there's no victim. It makes no sense.
I like how you described it as a stupid game because we're talking about the stupid prizes you win by playing stupid games. Good luck with your new real estate holdings, Letitia James, which is probably not going to end up her prize anyway. Neither will Donald Trump.
I mean, there's something to be said about New York devoting a lot of its state resources to prosecute just one guy that can win against President Joe Biden. It definitely makes people just a wee bit suspicious. You know what I mean, guys? Could the Big Apple be rotten to the core? I'm gonna let y'all answer that one. Now, what I can share, though, is that pollster Frank Luntz, he predicted what AG James is doing in New York to Trump. It could very well devastate Democrats in the upcoming election. So the former president recently failed to secure the $464 million appeal bond that he needed in the recent New York civil fraud judgment case against him. In their recent court filing, Donald Trump's legal team said that getting the amount of money needed was a practical impossibility under the circumstances presented. To that, James has threatened to seize Donald Trump's assets and suggested that the former president should secure the entire value by selling off all of his real estate holdings or whatever he needs to come up with the money, which his attorney Clifford S. Robert called unconstitutional. He even said that it would be completely illogical and the definition of an unconstitutional excessive fine and a taking to require defendants to sell properties at all, and especially in a fire sale, in order to be able to appeal this lawless Supreme Court judgment, as would cause him harm that cannot be repaired once the defendant does win, is overwhelmingly likely on appeal. So I mean, if you think about it, he makes a very good point here. I mean, honestly, this is making a lot of people boycott New York altogether, seeing how ridiculous and dangerous the legal system can be there. Now, if they do win the eventual appeal, but Donald Trump's real estate assets have already been liquidated just to secure the bond, I mean, wouldn't that mean that the appeal would have been meaningless? Regardless, Luntz said that any effort to seize Donald Trump's assets will destroy Biden's chances of becoming reelected in November. Now, as he explained, it's all going to be on camera and they're basically going to be creating the greatest victimhood of 2024. And they're also going to be basically re-electing Donald Trump. In fact, the campaign expert also said that such efforts would boost Donald Trump's ratings and help him secure the presidency. Now, according to Luntz, if they take his stuff, he's going to say that this is proof that the federal government and the establishment and the swamp in Washington, that this is a conspiracy to deny him the presidency. He's going to be going up in the polls just like he went up every single time they indicted him. He continued and talked about how in 7 swing states, Trump is up by the margin of error in 5 out of 7. And why is that happening? Well, according to Luntz, it's because his critics are stupid and they're running a horrible campaign. Now, it's definitely interesting to watch this unfold right in front of our eyes, right, guys? I mean, it may not even reach the point of assets being seized, as Trump recently declared on Truth Social that he possesses almost $500 million in cash. I mean, he said that he's done nothing wrong, and this is a matter of being a political witch hunt. It's a matter of a corrupt AG and communism in America. I mean, seriously, guys, Trump could definitely benefit from a cash influx through his media company going public, which might actually help cover his legal expenses. So Truth Social owner Trump Media and Technology Group has finalized its deal in order to go public, creating a massive windfall for former President Donald Trump that ultimately ends up doubling his net worth. So after Trump Media announced it'll make its stock market debut, Trump, for the first time, joined the list of the world's 500 wealthiest people on Bloomberg's Billionaire Index. Bloomberg estimated Donald Trump's net worth spiked by $4 billion on Monday alone, giving him an estimated fortune of $6.5 billion. Now, the closing of the merger between Trump Media and Digital World Acquisition Corp, it amounts to a multi-billion-dollar windfall for Trump, who just so happened to be the chairman and the dominant shareholder of the new company. Now, at the current prices, Trump's stake is valued at about $4 billion. Now, there are lockup restrictions that would likely prevent Trump from selling or even borrowing against the value of the stocks for months, but most likely they could negotiate a deal to kind of work around this for the purpose of securing that bond against AG James' case. But I'm telling you guys, there's a lot of ways for Trump to play this. Not to mention, they've already just recently reduced the bond requirement down to $175 million, so he won't need anywhere near the original amount. I mean, they could even go another route of counter-investigating AG James about why she's worth $18+ million when she only makes $200,000 a year. I mean, there could definitely be something there, right? And if so, her prosecuting Trump on financial crimes simply just doesn't sit right for a lot of people. Now, like I said, guys, we're deep diving into this today, but before we go any further, I just got to ask you guys a quick favor. If you're enjoying the insights and the in-depth analysis that we're bringing you, if you could please hit the like button, totally appreciate you guys. It really helps out the channel and it makes sure that we can continue to bring you guys the best content. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit the subscribe button and turn on all notifications. All right, so let's get back into this. We got a lot more to unpack here regarding Trump's string of legal wins. So the former president had reason to celebrate after seeing his strategies paying off for him in Georgia, in New York, and even Florida. So Georgia, the election interference case in Georgia brought by Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis ended the week with 6 fewer charges and 1 less prosecutor than the week before. Donald Trump responded by calling the move big stuff on social media. He says that this is the equivalent of deranged special counsel Jack Smith getting canned, something which should happen in the not too distant future. Now, Jack Smith is the lead in Donald Trump's case in Florida. So Trump, he appeared in court in Florida for a hearing related to 2 of several requests that he has made to dismiss the case brought by Smith related to the former president's alleged mishandling of classified documents. So Trump also asked Judge Cannon to push the trial in this case until after the presidential election, which Smith has asked for a July trial. Now, the trial was originally scheduled for May. There's also the hanging motion, including a very complex presidential immunity argument that the Supreme Court is now weighing in on Trump's other federal criminal case. Now, in New York, Donald Trump is facing 34 counts of business fraud over allegations brought by Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg that he participated in an illegal hush money scheme in 2016. Trump implored Judge Juan Merchant to delay the trial, originally scheduled for March 25th, by 90 days because of the 11th hour of productions, and to hold a hearing on the discovery process, which Trump accused Alvin Bragg of violating. Merchant announced that he would allow for just a delay of 30 days from Friday, effectively resetting the trial to mid-April. I think it's actually going to start April 15th. So Donald Trump's campaign celebrated Merchant's decision in a statement saying that the hearing would allow Bragg to be held accountable for misconduct. Now, as Joyce Vance, a former U.S. attorney for the Northern District of Alabama, she said in her local blog, the delays will help Donald Trump's aim of postponing his trials until after the presidential election in November. If elected as president, Donald Trump has several legal options at his disposal, including potentially pardoning himself or even appointing a favorable attorney general to dismiss the 2 federal cases. In her words, the legal landscape in 3 of the 4 criminal cases against Donald Trump, it just continues to shift in his favor this week. And Trump himself has pleaded not guilty to all charges and repeatedly said that these cases are politically motivated, as he is the likely GOP candidate for the White House. And it's basically a witch hunt to block him from the presidency come November. But seriously, guys, this is the time to be tuning in. Now, if you found our discussion helpful, hitting the like button and subscribing would definitely mean a lot to me. I mean, we got plenty more analysis coming your way, so make sure not to miss out on it by making sure that your notification bell is turned on. Your support and curiosity definitely keeps the channel going, and I'm totally grateful for every like, every comment, and every share. Most of all, I'm grateful for each and every one of you guys here on the channel. So remember, staying informed is crucial. We'll be here as one solid YouTube community to provide the insights the American people need. So anyway, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.